I'm David Uwe, the Executive Director of the Chinese American Museum, the first and only museum in our nation's capital dedicated to the Chinese American story. We are so excited to present our first episode of Wellness Wise, a new series, and today we are focusing on what's in your diet with a Tai Chi demonstration as well. Traditional Chinese medicine and wellness has been used to diagnose, treat, and prevent illnesses for more than 2,000 years. If you're a recent Chinese immigrant, a fifth-generation Chinese American, or perhaps of no Chinese heritage at all, traditional Chinese medicine has probably touched you in some impactful way. You may not even realize it. There is so much to learn, and to lead us on that journey are two experts in the field, Dr. Yinong Chong and Sean Cartwright. Both are co-founders of TCCII, Traditional Chinese Cultural Institute International. Dr. Chong is a Mayo Clinic certified wellness coach. She earned a PhD in sociology from Arizona State University. Her MA is in journalism from the Chinese Academy of Social Sciences. She has a BS in English literature from Beijing University. She also holds a graduate certificate in research methodology from the University of Maryland and was a postdoctorate fellow at the CDC's Epidemic Intelligence Service. Sean Cartwright is also the co-founder of TCCII. He uses his understanding of classical Chinese internal arts and Western culture to build a bridge between East and West for all his students. His many years of intensive training include arts of Feng Shui, Yi Jing, Qi Gong, Tai Chi, and a number of Eastern disciplines. He earned an MBA and a BS in engineering, science, and mathematics from Vanderbilt University. And just as a housekeeping note, you can submit questions through the Q&A or chat function. And Louisa Sorkness, who heads up our programs at the museum, will appear on camera at some points to help organize that Q&A. So we will do our best to get to your questions, particularly in the latter part of the event. So without further ado, I turn you over to our experts.
Thank you so much, David, for the lovely introduction, and also a great thank you to Louisa for coordinating and organizing this whole event. Today, we're talking about two of my favorite subjects, food and exercise. Since this is end of the day for East Coast, a lot of you probably just finished a day's work. Maybe haven't got a good bite to eat yet. So instead of driving you nuts to give you the food topic right away, I'm going to let Sean leading you through some gentle Qigong work and also some demo of Tai Chi exercise. Maybe that would take you away from the busy work from the day and also get your mind quiet down. So we may address this eating issue a bit less emotionally. All right. So Sean will get into our studio, and we can now also show you the studio view. Now you can follow him with some gentle exercises. Okay. Maybe he'll get a very...
All right. So happy to be here. I'm Sean Cartwright. My students call me Shifu Sean. And so tonight, what we want to do is go through a little movement, a little exercise. And I want to do this in a way that almost everybody, doesn't matter your physical condition, can follow along. Just a couple of words of warning: if something you don't feel comfortable doing, you don't have to do it. So just follow along, enjoy, and we'll try to shake some stress out. So if you're ready to get started, do me a favor. Drop a 1 right down there in the chat, so I know that you're excited to do a little Tai Chi, a little Qigong tonight. All right? So we're going to start the traditional way, feet together. Now we're going to step out. We're going to make a fist. We're going to cover with a palm, and we are going to salute each other. Now we are ready to begin. First thing I'm going to do is ask you to stand up straight, raise the crown of the head, drop the chin, relax the shoulders, bend the knees. Now, just start bouncing gently from the knees, a little bit up and down. Relax the shoulders, let the hands move. And once you get the hang of that, you can go. Now make a slow, gentle figure 8 with the wrist. Doesn't seem like much, but it works. All the 6 meridians in the arms. And reverse if you can. We're going to activate the internal energy here. Okay. We have the wrist. Now, bring your feet together. Bend your knees, let your hands slide down to the top of the knees. Massage the knees a little bit with the palm. Now, grab the knees with we call these the dragon claws, with the dragon claws. And now make a slow, gentle circle if you can. Good, with the knees. Good, loosen up the knees. Good, now let's reverse that. Reverse the direction here. Massage the knees. If you want, well, you can do that. It's kind of like walking and chewing gum. There's a reason I don't chew gum, but I can do this. Now, straighten the knees. Massage all around. Good. All right, now we're ready to work on the spine and the waist. Most people have some sort of pain in the back or the hip or the neck or the shoulder. So go gently with this, and we're going to loosen up and see if we can get some energy, some chi flowing in the back. All right, so what we're going to do, let the arms swing, start to turn side to side. If you can, step out a little bit wider. Now start to shift the weight from side to side. Turn the body, let the arms hang like loose ropes. That's right. Do a couple more. Good. Now that's an exercise, it's a very famous Qigong exercise in China. Some people, they just do that exercise. They'll do it for an hour. So you can do it for however long as you feel comfortable. All right. Now, those are some Qigong warm-ups. What we're going to do, we're going to transition into some Tai Chi movements. Now, many people may have done Tai Chi or have seen Tai Chi. Some of these movements I'm going to show you are from the original system of Tai Chi. So they're going to be have a little bit more balance of the yin and yang energy, meaning the softness, but also the vigorousness in the movement. All right. So the first one we're going to do is we're going to pick up on this turning from right and left, and we're going to do a little bit more with the arms. All right. So step out wider. If you can, bend the knees, sit. Remember, stand straight, relax the shoulders. Now what we're going to do is we're going to do what's called inner rolling arms. Okay, so one arm comes in, you can mirror me or whatever. So this arm comes in, and then it comes back to the waist. The other arm comes in, and then it comes back to the waist. So from the side, it comes in and back to the waist. In and back to the waist. All right, now what we're going to do is put this together. So we're going to start, one arm comes in, as it comes back to the waist, the other arm comes. Comes in and back, in and back, in and back, in and back. If you can sink down into your stance a little bit lower, that's good. So done slowly and continuously. So the arms are moving together. Now we can add a body turn. Turn. And shift the weight like we were doing before. So we're working on a weight shift, the turn of the body, the movement of the arms, the elbows, and the shoulders. So it's well known, Tai Chi's been added to a lot of prestigious programs. Harvard, Mayo Clinic, for example. A lot of research done on the health benefits. One of them is balance and reduction of falls. And except exactly this type of movement that helps with your stability and your balance. Okay. All right. Now, that is the inner circle. So what we're going to do now is if there's an inner circle, there must be the what? An outer circle. Correct. So we're going to do double outer circles. Again, step the feet apart. And we're going to start with one hand. It's going to come up the center of the body, turn over, out, and down. Up the center of the body, out, and down. Up the center of the body, out, and down. Now let's do the other arm. Up the center of the body, out, and down. Up the center of the body, out, and down. Up, out, and down. Good. Now we're ready to put them together. So one hand comes up. As it goes out, the other hand comes up. Just go slowly. Take your time, mirror me. At this stage, the main thing is just get the arms moving in a circle. Now, if you've done a similar exercise, you can add a release turn. You can add a rise or fall in the sink. What I hope is by now you've broken a little bit of sweat, but you're still able to carry on a normal conversation. This is a good, healthy level of activity. Good. Now, it wouldn't be Tai Chi if I didn't show you something about stepping. All right? So, what we're going to do is we're going to work on a knee lift. So what I want you to do is, if you can stand on one leg, that's fine. If you can't, you can hold on to a chair, or you can just watch me do it. It's your choice, all right? So what I want you to do is lift the knee. If you can lift it to the waist, that's good. And just touch it with your palm. Put it down, lift the knee. Put it down, lift the knee. Put it down, lift the knee. You can tap the knee gently. Good. All right, now, whenever you finish your exercise, what you want to do is you want to close. So we're going to gather the chi. What we've done is we activated the chi with the shaking. We opened up the body with the joint work, and then we circulated the energy. And with the silk reeling, we started the process of refining it, purifying the energy in the body. Now we're going to collect it. Chinese have a saying, if you do Qigong or Tai Chi, but you don't close, it's like fetching water in a basket. So inhale deeply as the arms come up. Exhale, visualize all the energy in the body flowing down to the lower abdomen, what we call the lower dantian. Inhale up. Exhale, all the energy run back to the abdomen. One more time. Good. Now feet together. Cover. Circle a few times in each direction. Rub the hands together. Hands should be pretty warm. Place them over the face. And without touching the face, feel the energy, feel the heat. We call this dry washing the face. It's free facelift. Make everybody look more beautiful tonight. All right. All right, good job. I hope you enjoyed that. I'll tell you what, I'd like a little love tonight, so if you would just drop a 1 or something in the chat if you had a good time. Get together, step out, present, back and down. And if you'd like to learn some more Qigong, I think Dr. Chong is going to give you the link to our institute. We have a free 3 secret keys video on there that'll give you 3 of the most important secret methods for cultivating your internal energy if you want it. Absolutely free. All right, have a good evening.
Thank you so much, Sean, for getting everybody relaxed and give them a bit taste of what Qigong is like. And now we're going to transition into tonight's lecture, which is what's in your diet, okay? But before we go into that, I do want to introduce the concept of Qi here. And if you still do the Chinese character writing, you'll recognize this one with a little rice down there, which represents food. That's one source for our energy. Okay, and then on top of it, actually, it's a stove cooking it and with the steam rising from it. So that's one form of writing the word Qi. But there are other forms too. Okay, because the Qi is really a very unique cultural concept that not only can be converted from food, give us power for everyday's lives functions, but also we believe that Qi inside your body can be cultivated through things like Qigong and Tai Chi or yoga, but also most importantly, can also be balanced and harmonized by mindful work, for instance, meditation, you got it, or mindful meditation, or exercises like Tai Chi, Qigong, and yoga. That's really a mindful, a body-mind exercise, and which we believe not only increase the quality or quantity, how much Qi you have, but most importantly, the quality of it. We balance it, we harmonize it, and we make the Qi flow better instead of shooting all over the place or instead of stuck in certain places. And that concept, bear in mind, is going to be important for tonight's later on the lecture, because that concept also apply to how we eat our food. Okay. All right, now let's go into our talk for tonight. And what are we eating? How do we eat it? Okay, if you can type in the chat, if this is you, you just put a big Y there, and that's your everyday staple, or if it's your kids' everyday food. okay? Or it's your grandkids and they just get so excited seeing spaghetti. There's whenever you ask, what shall we eat tonight? They say pizza or fried chicken or fries. If that's the case, and we know that they are already trained to have certain palates for this type of rich food, okay? I call this kind of people eating for the mouth because for them, taste, flavor overrides everything else, right? And if this is you, okay, put 2 Y's there, okay? And let me see how many people did 1 Y, how many people did 2 Y's. If this is you, please do 2 Y's there, okay? And yes, if that gets your blood going, okay, get your saliva going and get you excited, and then you associate this with sweetness in life, you associate with rewards, you associate with a certain sweet spot of high. If that's you, put 2 Y there, okay? And if, okay, I did see hand raising, and at the end, we will address all of your questions. And right now, for the continuity, I'm just going to keep going. For this group of people, I call it that you're eating for a craving. Because if you don't eat it, you don't feel good. Am I right? You might be pacing around like a little animal caged. You might be literally going through withdrawal. You have no energy, right? And so this not only is a kind of withdrawal symptom like addiction, but also we associated this type of food with what? With joy in life, with happiness, with rewards, right? We also reward our children this way. If you're so good, let's celebrate with some sweets, okay? So the craving, notice that it's not only your body will go with withdrawal symptom if you don't eat it, but also it is a psychological and emotional bond with the food as well. Am I right? Especially, I remember one of my teachers from Washington Post when he was teaching me journalism in China, and we didn't have as much readily available sweets. And literally that kind of a longing, it was beyond what we could understand. Why no chocolate and no cake is so painful, right? So this one, just pay attention that not only it's the pleasure of the food, but also there's such an emotional and mental tie to our foods, okay? Now, of course, this group might be a whole lot more above the fast foods, the rich foods, and the sweets. And maybe we are very conscious of choosing healthy food, okay? And for us, if this represents healthy food to you, put 3 Y's there. Especially if you take your juice and smoothie in the morning, cold from the fridge, all year round, okay? Definitely put your 3 Y's there, okay? So that's your healthy food. We are paying attention what we put on our plate and ultimately in our tummy, okay? All right. So if you are truly one of the measure of how much we are acculturated, we are assimilated to the main society. One of my questions is, do you take your water cold with ice, warm temperature, or warm water? Okay. So this one, okay, just take it as another clue there. Okay. When you think of food or healthy food, are these the cold salad and the smoothie and juice associate with that, okay? And also not only what we're eating, but how we're eating, all right? And if this describes you, meaning you're multitasking when you're eating, you're on the phone, you're still working, you're still reading, you're still watching TV, you don't even know what have you shoved into your mouth, or you're running while you're eating, okay? Meaning you grab something on the way and back to the office. By the time you're there, you already finished eating. If that's you, okay, and does the last one already happened, meaning you don't really know when you're hungry and when you're full. You're just eating for the sake of finishing a job. You think you got to eat, okay? All right. Or you really don't have time to sit down and enjoy the food. You barely just quench the hunger feeling, okay? And task checked off. All right. So if that's you, okay? And with those things we described, there's no wonder we are having so many issues in this country that could be related to the food, our tummy, our digestive system, and ultimately other issues as well. Okay, so we can see not only from this map, not only obesity, so many years with so much mounting research indicating what are correlated to the weight gain, and so many different dietary regimen out there, and so many experts' opinion on the TV shows, on the net, but still we could see these are the views on the rising, right? Irritable bowel syndrome, like leaky gut, one of them. Metabolic syndrome, the three highs: high blood pressure, high glucose level, and a high cholesterol. They're all metabolic issues. Food allergy, not only for adults, but also for children. And they're all on the rise. And so we have to ask, what happened? With so much evidence out there indicating how should we eat, and also with so much advice and guidelines there, why these conditions are still we're struggling with, still the conditions we're struggling with, okay? And so what is the root cause there? Are we missing something? Okay, and with that, I want to first say a few words about the research concerning Western nutrition. Okay, first of all, they divided foods into groups. And then they studied their micronutrients, macronutrients, what's their calorie or what's the energy that attached to these ways, and then through what pathways they're going to provide biochemical processes in our body. Okay, I had to say this study is illuminating in telling us what's in our food, and even, for instance, nutrients. It's been changing since we had chemicals for not only pesticides, but also we use fertilizer that's chemicals that change the fundamental compositions in our soil. So even nutrients we know now changed. 1 cup of let's say spinach didn't have nearly as much iron as it's contained before, or vitamins, okay? So it's documenting how the nutrients and the calories are changing in the foods when the way we cultivated them changed, when the way we raised animal changed. And also they study it in a way they want to give us a guideline by saying, if you do this fruit more and that fruit groups less, or this only sparingly, so you get a complete combination of the food groups in the right proportion. And they're hoping actually we will be healthy, or we are having a healthy diet. And that guideline has been in place for a few decades now. It changed from the pyramid to the plate to different format, and still research indicated that didn't seem to be enough to address all the health issues we just mentioned a few moments ago. Now, let's shift to the traditional Chinese medicine perspective, or TCM perspective, what we see in foods, okay? And there are a few extra concepts there to think about. For instance, the foods has flavors, and to be exact, we consider that we have a sweet, pungent, salty, bitter, or sour flavors. And that 5 flavors, actually, we mapped it out, which organs it's going to go replenish or dredging or adjust the energy pattern for that organ specifically. For instance, sour flavor. It's linked, or the pathway is to the liver. Okay, so you could use the sourness to activate the liver energy a bit. You can also use it to dredge and detox it. Okay, and bitter, on the other hand, it's linked to our heart. Okay, it will lower down the heart's heat or fire. All right, and the saltiness is associated with your kidneys, while sweets are linked to our stomach and spleen system, while pungent or spiciness are linked to our lungs. Okay, so by choosing foods, you are actually toning, replenishing, sedating, calming down that particular organ's energy. And beyond that, we also consider foods, the different colors are linked to the organs too. Okay, green is associated with the liver, white with the lungs, yellow with the spleen and stomach, red with the heart, and black or dark blue with the kidneys. So using those two systems, we literally categorize the food to be linked to certain organs and their functions. Okay, so that's one way we categorize food, is which organ it is connected to and which organ it is replenishing or adjusting primarily. And second, we see foods, since their energy, they have different energetic properties. For instance, thermal properties. Certain foods we consider very warming. For instance, hot chili pepper, black pepper. For instance, ginger. Okay, and even though with different color, they warm up different organs, but in terms of thermal properties, they actually are warming or heating up in its energetic signature. While certain other foods are more cooling, or even cold. For instance, cucumber, very cooling. Okay, and summertime, when you come out from the heat, if you do a little bit of cucumber salad, you feel cold and cooling down from inside out. What else is cooling in fruits? Watermelon, exactly. Okay, not only they're cooling, they're extremely moisturizing. They replenish the water contents in your body, in your cell quickly. While certain other foods, we consider them cold. For instance, seafoods. From the bottom of the sea, they're very cold food. So that's also why when we're eating a lot of fish, especially when you're eating crabs, shellfish, they're very cold. We always cook them with ginger. We always cook them with a lot of pepper. We always cook them with warming seeds or spices to tone down the coldness. Otherwise, we consider certain people who are afraid of cold might get, let's say, diarrhea. Okay? What others are cold? Tropical fruits. They are cooling in nature. Okay? Banana, for instance, mango, for instance. Okay? So we can use the thermal nature to describe our foods. And also, since they are energy, certain foods actually are more replenishing and more tonifying. Certain foods are more dredging, eliminating, or expelling things outward. Okay? For instance, the pepper, not only they're warming me up, but also they can expel the dampness out of the body, make me sweating. That's why in those extremely damp area, like Sichuan in China or India, okay, or Nepal, right? So those areas, or Thailand, those areas, they eat more than their fair share of spicy food. Why? Because if they didn't get rid of the dampness, we consider the inflammations will ensue. Okay, and there might be fungus around in the house that can affect you. So with that, you can dispel that kind of dampness out of your body. Okay, and certain food makes you go upward, which is a pick-upper. Okay, pepper is one of them. Okay, certain colorful foods too. After you eat them, you get a bit more activated in your energy. But certain other foods will move you down. For instance, bitter food. Okay, we'll take all the heat. For instance, if you eat watermelon, we'll take the hard fire and move it downward so you're not so restless. You don't feel so much heat in the body, especially in the heart area. So certain food will make the qi go down. So actually foods will make qi go different directions, right? Certain food will get to your head right away, right? And so certain food will calm you down, okay? And some of the seeds or plant protein, not only they give us the building blocks that would Western medicine would tell you, okay, these are the building blocks of your cells. But we said they also what? Building up the blood, the fluids in the body, and they nourishing you. They actually made you pretty grounded and calm down. So when we say those things, we're literally talking about the foods from energetic point of view. Okay. And that's also no wonder we not only treat them as energy, we give you qi. It tonify your kidney, or you moisturize your lungs, or boost up your digestive power. So we're really talking about foods as energetically helping you. When they do that, we're also balancing out off balance. So in Chinese medicine, foods are always part of it. Or in our foods, or in our culinary tradition, herbs and medicinal properties are always considered when you're cooking. Okay, so in that, I made a little 9 palace chart here for you that to tell you that you can categorize food in terms of whether it's nourishing and which is more replenishing in nature. They could be nourishing your blood. That's more the grains, more the dry fruits, okay, more the darker color vegetables in roots, okay. So for instance, give you a few examples. The ones that nourishing the blood, and rice is one of them, especially red, black rice. That's sticky, okay? They are good blood toners. Peanuts are one of them too, or raisins, red apples, carrots, okay? Of course, the red color in the melon made it also a heart and blood toning fruit as well. Lychee or dragon eye, okay? And mulberry, and those are all good blood toners, okay? And sesame as well, black sesame especially, goji berry, okay? Mushrooms, okay? And the qi tonify agents, and we mentioned some of the spices, right? Black pepper or the ash corn pepper and ginger, okay? Red chili or little fennel seeds. And most of these are major qi replenishers, okay? And nuts, in terms of walnut, they're major qi tonifier, okay? And we also mentioned that not only qi can be replenished with food, we can also use qi to unblock, to dredge, to detox, okay? And some of the spices like in peppermint or celery or the mulberry tree leaves or chrysanthemum flower or the black bean that's fermented, okay? And those are the things that can be cooling as well. And we mentioned a lot of the summertime fruits and vegetables, a lot of them are cooling as well, okay? In terms of grains that's cooling would be the mung bean. And if you come from certain countries that would boil the mung bean soup and serve it to you as taking the heat out of the body, so you would know that's one of the beans that can be cooling. Of course, a lot of the foods could be warming as well, okay? And mustard, especially in terms of the roots and seeds, and red or dark sugar and red tea, they're much more warming than the green tea. Okay, so those are slightly warming. So in China, if a girl has menstrual cramps, we consider that's part of the cold symptoms in the uterus. We will give them what? Red tea or red sugar water. Exactly. And we might put some dates there. That's another warming and blood toning agent to help them warm up the womb and to reduce the cramps. Okay. Of course, we said the qi can be directional. They can pull you down. For instance, if you want to get rid of the coldness and if you want to cooling down things, green tea is one of them. Bitter melon is another one of them. Another one is dandelion leaves. We make those, not only they're cold and bitter, they can pull the toxins down, pull the heat down, and help eliminate them. Of course, there are certain foods that's considered well-balanced. They're neither hot or cold, neither warming or cooling. They're more for all kinds of constitutions and seasons. And corn is one of them. Little red bean is one of them. In terms of spices, salt is considered neither hot or cold, okay? And daikon or radish, okay? And they're considered more evenly distributed in energy. And sesame seeds, okay? Kelp, a lot of the seaweeds, okay? They are relatively balanced. Okay. Of course, you definitely can use certain food to heat you up as well. Okay. And some of the tropical foods can do that, like a binglang, or certain of the herbs do that very well. So now with this, you sort of like having a map to say, now what's my body's situation? Is it too hot or too cold? Is it too dry or too wet already? Like right now, we have so much rain and so much moisture in the air. And some of us will feel your hives or eczema started acting up, or you even see, some people even see little watery blister kind start coming out of your feet in the summer. That's body's way of eliminating the dampness. So you may assist it by using some of the foods that express dampness. And you definitely don't want to eat food that's so damp now. For instance, milk, okay? That's not only damp, but also create a mucus as well. So for those people who are already expressing dampness out, you don't want to exacerbate the situation. So literally now you can see not only their energy, they can be used to adjust body's conditions. So literally becoming what? Medicine, okay? And I'm so glad to also see that the guidelines now are becoming a lot more wiser, giving the research evidence that we shouldn't just say you need to eat 5 servings of fruits and vegetables for certain people that really, for one, they couldn't eat that much. For two, once they do, they don't feel that good. So they now recognize different people at different stage of life. They need different nutrition. So they did say, number one, our needs differ. So they want you to customize your own nutritional needs and then also choose the nutrition dense foods instead of empty foods, empty in nutrients foods, okay? So that word they use, I love it. Make every bite counts at different stage of life or at every stage of life. Okay, and they still stick to their gum, which is rightly so. In choosing food, we need to 好色. 好色 means you should love fruits in all colors. And not only that, hopefully fresh, hopefully prepared in a way that with minimum damage to the nutrients. Okay, so they still kept that, which is great. They did still say you stay within your calorie limits. Okay, don't consume too much than your body could use. Okay, and the ones that they really want you to limit now is high in additives, high in saturated fat, high in preservatives. Okay, and all of those are quite valid in its scientific evidence because we already know that the additives and the food coloring, and also the food that's genetically modified already have a certain weed killers and pesticides embedded in the seeds. And those actually, what they did was they kill the good bacteria in our stomach, which makes those that co-produce other ingredients into essential nutrients. They kill those little helpers. And also we noticed without the good bacteria lining our guts, the leaky bowel syndrome or bad bacteria can take over. And not only they impact our digestive system, actually they affect also our immune system, our circulatory system. Even we have a gut-brain axle affect our moods and our brain functions as well. So gut, in Chinese medicine, we call it, it's the root of our living life. We really need to not destroy them by putting the wrong foods there. Now, what's Chinese medicine's suggestion or advice or even principle now? We said, well, you need to understand different flavors and different colors goes to different organs. So you need to choose wisely based on your body's conditions now and here. And number two is you could use food not just as nutrients and energy, but you can balance your yin yang. If your body right now is too dry, too hot, you need to bring it down, bring it to the natural balanced state. Okay, so one rule of all is you need to really know your foods and your body so you can use the foods and their combinations well for different seasons when you travel to different locations, and also what your own body's constitution is. Okay, how it reacts to different weather in this condition. For instance, me, I'm very cold in constitution. I'm very damp already. So the recommended fruits and vegetable servings would be too much for me. How do I know? If I ate that much, I would have diarrhea or stomach cramps, literally. And also I cannot do the cold fruits in the winter. Absolute no-no. Certain people can do it. Why? Because they're so hot. They have so much heat in their stomach because of their diet or constitution. They can take it. And one cold juice in the morning will literally give me such a cramp. But for other little kids, probably it's just fine. So in that sense, there's no guideline fits all type of thing. And we already see in the guidelines that the American Dietary Council putting out, and that they do want you to customize and individualize. So now it is on us to really read our body right. And last but not least, I will give a few healthy food that you may not consider in your everyday purchasing. So beets being one of them, especially given that the COVID really makes a little actually clogs in the heart or in our blood cells. And this is one of them that can dissolve those little clots. And also another ugly root that you may never look at it, it's a superfood, okay? So if you're going to pick superfood, this one not only it's a laxative and diuretic and help your digestive system, it can reduce inflammations in your blood cells and your digestive tract, okay? Another one that we love, the mountain yam, it is a great balanced replenisher for not only the stomach channel, but also the liver, but also the spleen channel as well. Okay, 平补脾肝肾. Okay, it's such a wonderful food. Another great qi toner, red radish, daikon radish. Okay, so the question really is not just what to eat, but also what to eat, when and where, for whom, okay? And also how you prepared it, okay? And the timing of it, I just want to quickly say, the stomach and spleen hour, it's between 7 and 9 in the morning and 9 and 11 in the morning. For those who skip breakfast, you literally give those two digestive organs nothing to work with. And 7 to 9 in the evening or 9 to 11 in the night, we really should be body should be detoxing, conversion, clean out, and not the nice snack time if you stay up so late, okay? So that's our timing. And also giving how the sun, we circulate around it, we actually have different climates for most of the reasons. For most of the areas in North America, we have 4 seasons. And the Chinese has another season saying summer and spring, you try to nourish the young more. And when you go into autumn and winter, you try to nourish the young more. And to translate in another way, summer and spring and summer, you try to boost your qi, your energy. And autumn and winter, we try to really nurture our blood and the body fluids. And that's okay to pad a little fat on into, because the natural natural rhythm, I use a different word, natural rhythm of the season and of our body, actually, if we follow the nature. So with that, I would wish everybody not only happy eating by knowing what to eat, when to eat and when to stop, and also really know how your body feels after you eat, okay? And that way we can truly nurture our body to not only great health, but also great state of mind and body balance and harmony. All right, and that was a quick run for our share of the food today. And now I'm going to also share the mic with Luisa so she can field the questions for us from the audience.
Yeah, Yinong, thank you so much for this presentation. I've already learned a ton. All I can say is I'm very glad that this is going to be a series through CAMDC, because I can't wait to hear what else you have to say and just learn so much more about traditional Chinese medicine. And thank you, Sean, for leading us in those exercises to begin with. This was a ton of fun. There are a ton of great questions coming in, so we're going to do our best to get through a majority of them. So let's jump right in. So is there such thing as healthy food for all, and what would that look like?
Healthy food for all is a tall order. So either the guideline or the Chinese medicine principle all ask you to carefully discern what's good for you now at this particular location and time, okay? So for that, I would say we can go in serious. We can read your constitution. We can tell right now, given some of the signs, for instance, you can look at your face. Is it dry and shriveled? Look at your tongue. Is it thick white coating on it? Or is it very dark color? Or it's a vibrant red color? From those, we are really reading the internal energy state. And then from there, we can say, you eat more of this, less of this, okay? You stay away from that. So there's no one bill fits all at all.
Mm-hmm. To that question, and I think me, along with a lot of people, have this, how would you recommend going about figuring out our bodily constitution, the hot versus the cold, what type we are?
Okay, and for that, you have 2 ways to do it. You can do it the esoteric way, which is you consult I Ching and the birth date. And that in the TCM school, in Chinese cultural school, they can already tell some of the, we call it pre-heaven, meaning before you were born, you already were conceived and gestated during certain time when the energy is forming, okay? And also we ask where you were born. North part of the country, equator, south part of the country, and then we can give you a relatively accurate of your constitution. But also quite a few Chinese medicine doctors can tell that too. Just from your health chronically, they can tell you're more balanced kind of a constitution, or you're very hot, okay, like my younger sister, okay, she's always chewing on something cold. For me, very cold and damp, I always stay away from the cold food. So you could also tell it from the symptoms. For instance, what are you most afraid of? And if you, even this season, You hate the AC. You like to keep your feet warm. Pretty much we can tell you're the kind of person naturally already cold. You couldn't take extreme cold temperature. And if you do, you get sick easily, okay? And then that's another way to tell is from the manifestation, okay?
Mm-hmm. So there's, I think that there's even in Western culture, we know that there's they say that chocolate is, can be, induce love and things like that. Are there other foods that are mood adjusters or anything more on that nature?
Yeah, and naturally sweet and vibrant colored food. Okay, they're a little bit more pick-uppers, and usually the darker colored foods, usually in general, in principle, are a little bit more sedating or calming. Okay, so that's one way. Another way is from the flavor to discern it. Those spicy, pungent food or sweet food, they're more warming, they're more kind of pick-uppers, and the sour, salty, and bitter food are more calming downs.
So here's an interesting question. So you mentioned eating for the season and kind of leaning into direction of different foods for different season. Is there a fear of neglecting a food type if you're eating seasonally? Since you mentioned that foods are connected to organs.
Okay, that's that question can be understood two different ways. One way is if you are naturally healthy people, okay, you can just follow the season, meaning whatever is in season, you eat it. That's typically what your body needs. For instance, watermelon. Watermelon is a diuretic, okay? It really makes you pee, okay? It takes the toxins out quickly and then brings the temperature down quickly. Same time, it's still moisturizing you. So it's a great summer food, right? And would you eat it in winter? Not me in the milling time, but if the place you live or if the air conditioning or the heater make you so hot and so overheated, can you eat a little bit of watermelon? Of course. So you understand it in two different ways. Once you understand its energetic properties, you learn to use it, sometimes anti-season, to correct off balance.
Yeah, I think that's fascinating. It makes a lot of sense, when you think about it. It's like if it's available, that's when you should eat it, kind of.
If it's available anti-season,
right,
and you ate it, it gave you trouble, and you need to stop and say, what did I eat yesterday? Mostly it's one is digestive system wise. For instance, you ate it, next day you stop, next day you stopped. You ate it 2 hours after, you have running to the bathroom 5 times, after you eat. So that's an immediate clue that something you ate didn't agree with you right now. So you take a note and take it out now, and then notice what's going on in the weather, notice what's going on in your body as well. Another one you notice is not in the digestive system, but in the moods and the sleep. Okay, something you ate that kept you so high you couldn't calm down. Like we said, the kids are on sugar high, the kids are on chocolate high, or if you ate it, this just happened to me. I couldn't digest wheat too well. And 2 days ago, I cooked this noodle for my daughter, and it was so good. So I ate more than my fair share. Guess what? Middle of the night, I woke up and my heart feels kind of weird. And I said, okay, time to get some digestive enzyme. So certain foods, if you couldn't digest it, it not only becomes garbage and stay on the waistline, but most of it turn into either toxins or cause inflammation. And if you're chronically having the inflammation, later on, you will either have IBS or other metabolic syndromes, like certain things you couldn't digest, and it becomes a constant toxin to you. And then you would show up in chronic digestive issues. And so for that, and you can also form scar tissues or adhesiveness. and make qi not flowing too well. So if you notice after you eat, not only you're bloated, but also your heart didn't feel good because the whole place literally is plugged. Okay, and you couldn't even breathe too well. You're in a food coma. So after you eat, instead of feeling energized, you feel food coma or lack of energy. You need to ask, did I eat the wrong food or too much of the wrong food?
So we all just need you on standby, because after every meal, I'm going to be like, Yinong, something's not right. I wish we could go on and on. I do want to just get to one more question here before we start to wind down. You did mention a little bit about water temperatures at the beginning of the talk, but can you go into that just a little more? I have a question or comment.
That's a wonderful question. I may not make too many friends after this, or may not, hopefully with this crowd, I didn't make too many enemies either. The hour of the morning, you want to use a bit warm water and if a little bit salt or a little bit oil in it to help the large intestine to cleanse first. And then whatever you put into your stomach should help the stomach to work, right? And stomach in Chinese medicine, it loves warm environment. So is spleen. Spleen converts the minute nutrients into energy. So it's a converter. Except stomach doesn't like dry, but spleen like warm and dry. So if you do cold food off the ground in the morning, actually it did two things. One is it really make your stomach less of a cooker. Think about the cook. The stomach is your cook, is your pot. The pot cooks food by temperature, by chemicals, which needs certain temperature, and also by moving mechanically. When it cools down, things move slower, right? Mm-hmm. Or even stopped moving because they're too constricted. So both of those require certain temperature for stomach to work as an effective stove. By pouring cold water on it or cold juice on it in the morning, actually you are reducing its digestive power. At least that's our reading of it. And that chronically can cause not only digestive power to decrease, but also you will see certain things. For instance, we mentioned the very minimum menstruations for girls or cramps for girls. So that's the cold conditions transferred even to reproductive organs. And or the joint pain. We didn't typically link the two together, but Chinese medicine does. Okay, we call the 关节炎, the arthritis, we call it cold and damp conditions. Okay, so those you didn't typically make the link, but it could have a link. Okay, and so those eating a cold food early in the morning, when your yang qi try to rise, when your stomach ready to go into cooking the food for you, you basically pour some ice on it and to slow it down in its function. And day in and day out, it will show up in digestive functioning. Okay, so that at least it's the TCMs. But why do we do so much? I just want to add one more, because the food we ate are so rich. And also, not only we have heat in the stomach, we might even have inflammations. So cold food and ice make it feel good. So that's one way you're using physical temperature to lower down the inflammation caused or induced discomfort. So if that's the case, then get rid of the inflammation is number one priority.
Okay. Well, we could go on and on to the wee hours of the morning with this discussion. But I do want to ask this question live of you, Yinong, as a favor, because probably more than 60 people have asked this. Can that 9 chart, those 9 functions of heat and cold chart, be translated into English to send around to everyone?
Yeah. I have to redo that slide because it's a picture.
Yes.
Today I did consider and said maybe I should translate for them. It's a picture, so I will redo the slides and then share that with you, and you can share with the group.
So now everyone knows that I asked.
Okay.
And yes, that will definitely send around. And thank you so much for this. And like I said to everybody, this is a new series. We plan to start these out by once every other month, and then we'll even make it more frequent from there. But just for now, we do have a slide up with some more information for the Chinese American Museum, as well as more information you can find for the Traditional Chinese Cultural Institute International. Sean also did put in the chat the short video for that is on the TCCII website, and I will send that all around to everyone as well.
Yeah.
All this information and more information from Yinong will go into an email for everyone who participated with us tonight as well. Yeah.
Thank you so much for participating, and hopefully we can keep the conversation going. And thank you. And last but not least, I want to just close this with one little exercise, okay? Which is a neural and body integration, okay? So you using one fist and one palm, okay? It's our heart point, and I want to recondition our habits with food just a little bit, okay? So tap with me and switch quickly, okay? Same time, say it either silently or loudly, and just say, I love and accept myself, even if I'm not eating healthy to support my health yet, okay? And I will open up to all the wisdoms and the knowledge that would help me to choose wisely for my wellness and my whole family's wellness. And I love and accept myself for that effort, okay? So that when that cravings taking over, the impulsive decision taking over, just take a minute and tap yourself and break that pattern, and then pause and think truly what my body and mind wants right now. Okay, so hopefully this talk, if nothing else, can give you a little tool to help you all along the way to choose healthy food. Okay.
Thank you, Yinong. Good night, everyone. Thank you.